We all love pizza. I know I love pizza. Isn't it obvious? And donuts, too, let's be honest. But if you're a resident of Des Moines, Iowa, you're going to want to avoid these 5 pizza shops, guys. They're just the 5 worst pizza shops in Des Moines. So let's give you an example. It's Hollow Pizza. Now, look, we all make whatever money we make, and we want to get value for that money. So when your pizza comes out and it's hollow on the inside, full of air, what's the percentage of that air? Well, that's what happens at Hollow Pizza Shop in Des Moines, Iowa, guys. It's half air. Now, I've been driving by there a few times. I remember when I lived there, and I saw them pumping air into the pizza. So it wasn't just the air that was already there inside during the baking process. They were pumping more air in. It's just not a good value for the money, guys. If you want hot air, you can get that from your relatives. So I'm going to say avoid Hollow Pizza Shop in Des Moines, Iowa. The next one on our list here is Unwritten. Now, a lot of times we hear the word unwritten, we think of unwritten rules, unwritten laws, and that is certainly the case at Unwritten Pizza Shop in Des Moines, Iowa, because they're doing something to the pizza that is not being totally disclosed. There's not a lot of transparency there. So, for example, one time I was eating a slice of pizza at Unwritten, and a small tuba player rose from the cheese wearing a purple hat and playing a trombone. And he started playing a song that made me cry because it made me think of the first breakup I ever had in 7th grade. Thanks a lot, Cindy. So I'm going to avoid Unwritten Pizza, guys, because you don't know how they're going to make you cry, and you don't want it to happen. If you're on a first date, it's not macho. Now, number 3 on our list is Proposed Pizza. Now, this was a great idea. Whoever thought of this, this was a great idea, Proposed Pizza. But it's not for me, and here's why. The idea is that not only do you get a pizza, but it's an opportunity to propose to your loved one for marriage. And so that's great. But that was great when they opened in 1958. Now everybody knows, okay, that you might be getting a proposal or giving one. And so, therefore, the fear goes up because maybe, let's say it's a woman that is going to be proposed to by a man, and she is not ready, perhaps, for that. And so when they pull into the parking lot of Proposed Pizza, there have been more than a few heated arguments out there because she knows what's about to happen. And she's like, hey, whoa, hey, why don't we just go to still working it out deli, right? Rather than Proposed Pizza. So, guys, I don't need that kind of drama, and I'm going to say you don't either. Now, the next on our list of the worst pizza places in Des Moines, Iowa is Scientific. Again, a great idea, because how many times is a pizza, you're eating it, you're like, yeah, you try a new place, well, Scientific takes out all of those, because they make it to exact specifications. You don't have to rely on if the guy making the pizza is hungover or not. It's done scientifically. But the problem with that, guys, it's a little too scientific, in my opinion. No, you can have a different opinion. But it tastes almost exactly right in the middle of it. Because they were trying so hard to avoid it. And isn't that so often what happens in life? That what we try to avoid is exactly what takes place. So because of that uncertainty, I'm going to tell you to avoid Scientific Pizza. Now, finally, the last one is Trains. Now, Trains, I'll admit, has a lot of popularity in Des Moines, Trains Pizza. And the idea is that they serve pizza on the metro trains. And so you're coming home from your job in Des Moines, downtown, and you live in Urbandale, and you're on the train. And so you say, I'm going to get a Trains Pizza. Well, the problem, guys, is that they get the ingredients onto the train, but they don't know how to refrigerate them so good. So that if those pepperonis were in the fridge from the night before, they may not have been powered overnight. Because when the trains are asleep at night, they don't power them. And so maybe it's not the freshest thing in the morning. Now, usually pepperoni is good for 100, 200 years. So you usually don't have to worry. But what about the tomatoes? What about the cheese? Okay, I'm not sure it's going to be the freshest experience on the train to get a Train's pizza. Plus, you have to walk to the back car. Now, what if you're in the front car? You have to walk all the way back, and in Des Moines, the trains don't have those passageways in between. You're out in the elements. Have you been in Des Moines in the middle of winter? So now you have to walk between train cars in December just to get a pizza that you're not even sure is fresh, guys. So it's too much. And I think it would be good, as a suggestion, if they could somehow get those ingredients fresher and also put some kind of all-weather covering over the trains so that I don't have to be walking through like I'm going down a skiing run in the Alps, like, it's freezing out here. It's too much, guys. Those are the 5 worst pizza places in Des Moines, Iowa. Avoid them.